Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti amici, welcome my friends. My name is Vincenzo and welcome to my channel, and the channel is Fountain Pen Therapy. Yes indeed, this channel is all about therapy, but some particular type of therapy, and that's fountain pens. And what we do is review fountain pens here, paper, and fountain pen friendly paper, and inks of course. And I've got a brand new offering that I would normally be very excited about. I mean, Penbbs, Chinese fountain pen maker that I think started a completely new wave of excellent Chinese writing instruments. I think we owe it all to Penbbs, but I have one offering to review for you, and the questions that I have, and the verdict is still out, unfortunately. Should I be excited about this new Penbbs 556? Is it a déjà vu, or has the Chinese pen market gone somewhere else, making this one a lackluster offering? Stay tuned. I will give you my opinion, my likes and my dislikes for this brand new pen. Here it is, the Penbbs 556. Yes, indeed. So here it is, the Penbbs 556. I chose it in this color. I was kind of fed up of, galaxy blue and the same colors. I like the swirl, this brown swirl. Very nice. I like these transparent acrylics. It gets you, the viewers, to take a look at the piston mechanism, because this is a piston filler. So I can appreciate what's going on in there. I always like demonstrators. I particularly like the gold trimmings on this pen combined with the brown swirls. I think is an excellent, excellent choice. So I wanted to be a little bit different, and we'll take a look at this pen. I got to tell you, I think that the Chinese pen market has gone elsewhere. They're in a completely different universe right now. And here we receive a Penbbs pen, a new offering. I haven't seen anything from them for a while, at least not in their standard lines. There may be some very expensive pens or nibs that have come out, etc. But this is a brand new offering, and frankly, I've seen this before from Penbbs. It hasn't electrified me in any way. Not to say that it's not a nice writing instrument, and we'll see what that nib does. And not to say that the build quality is not what we've been used to from Penbbs. But is it giving me shivers down my supine? No, not at all. Which is unfortunate. But having said that, let's review it. And I'm sure some of the viewers will disagree with me. First of all, the finial. I like the finial. Take a look at that point. You can almost feel it. It's not rounded. I mean, it's not pointy to the point where it's going to hurt you. But I like the fact that they've took the pain to actually create a nice design there. Very nice, and it's got some really nice, interesting texture. In terms of the clip is well integrated. That's typical Penbbs clip. I like that big center band. We'll take a look at it more closely in the comparisons to see if it's something brand new or if something that we've seen before. Of course, this is other trimming here that that controls the piston. There it is. And yes, let's see how many turns to get to the nib. That's one. That's 1.5. So 1.5 to reveal. It's a very ordinary nib. I got to tell you, this is the Penbbs Fine. This is not one of their new offerings, plastic feed. The plastic feed, I've got a feeling, I'm not sure. I'm afraid to push it to see if it's those fragile, feeds that we're used to from Penbbs. I'm not sure. Those fins look just as thin as they used to be, so I don't want to push them down because I'm going to destroy it. I'm not happy about this nib because there's nothing novel about it. It's just an old style Penbbs nib. I like that band right there in the section. Section's got a flare, which is nice. I always like flares now. I realize that flares is what makes pens more comfortable for me. In terms of those threads, very soft, very well done. There is a little bit of a step down. You can feel all this, but I don't think it's intrusive. I think you've also got enough space there in that section. If you are one that holds the pen a little higher up, I don't think that any of this will really, be intrusive to your writing experience. I see that there's that nice band, and it says Penbbs Type A nib. Penbbs Type A nib. So they've identified the nib. So is that nib different? Is it the same? Is it a architect grind? Perhaps. Maybe it's different. You know what? Maybe they're giving us something different here. I'm looking forward to writing with that nib. It's a piston filler. The piston works beautifully. I got to tell you, nice and smooth. I'm not going to take it apart. I don't take these things apart anytime because I'm just afraid to. I'm very technical. I'm afraid to break them all up. So I'm sure other reviewers will take that apart. In terms of this nib, it unscrews, which is wonderful. Because if it does, it's got all the regular O-rings, by the way. And, if you want to wash the pen, that's the way I would do it. There you go. So I just pushed on that feed, but thankfully there's a little bit of ink there. So I'm wondering if they tested this. It'd be interesting to know. Maybe they've tested this pen already. In any event, looks very nice. I'm encouraged. Maybe there's something new in that nib. If there is, it will make my evaluation of this pen so much different. I love the cap. Cap does have, just to put some light in it, cap does have a little bit of a step there to seal it all. I'm assuming that there's no air going through there. Actually, why don't I haven't used this in a while. This is my fog machine, which I sometimes use to see if the cap will give me any problems. Let me turn this on. Okay, and we will put the fog in there and see if anything comes of it. You see, there is some smoke coming out of that end there. Now, will this make this, let me just try it once more time. Yeah, there's some definitely coming out of there. Now, will this make, does this mean that it will not be, it won't have any drying issues? We shall see with time. Stay tuned. I will test this pen for a couple of weeks, and then in one of my recaps, I'll come back to this and we'll let you guys know. For the time being, you can take a look at what I have to offer in terms of my comments, and we will reserve judgment for the the sealing of that nib for some time in the future. So I think we've covered everything we need to cover in terms of the exterior of this pen. Oh, one more thing. Pen is very comfortable in the hand, as you can see. It's got a nice size, so it's not a small pen. It's just a little better or a little bit thicker than or bigger than a medium-sized pen. Does it post? Yes, it does, barely. It doesn't post deeply, and there is, kind of a play. Now, does it turn the knob? Yes, it does. See that knob turns. So I would not, and it doesn't go on straight. There's too much of a give here, okay? But if you have to absolutely post it, just be very careful. It can be. It makes the pen a little bit back-weighted and uncomfortable, in my view. I would not post this. I really would not post this pen. Just because of that piston knob, we'll forget, and then you'll cause a mess. So there you have it. That's the pen on the outside. I'm anxious to do some comparisons with some of their older models, just to see if they've changed anything. So stay tuned. I'll set it all up, and we'll do some pen and size comparisons. Okay, so we're back with a few pens. I've taken a bunch of demonstrators from some of the other Chinese pen companies, especially some of the more recent ones. This is the Mahjong Moonman C4. This is the P36 from Asvine. This is the Asvine V200. This is the Mahjong C5. This is the new Mahjong P139. I think it's the P140. No, not the P139. This is the P140. And this, of course, is the subject pen. Now, I got to tell you that some of these pens put the Penbbs, not to shame, but it makes it look very ordinary. And it just goes to show you how far the rest of the pen makers have gone since Penbbs has kind of slowed down. That's my feeling, at least. I mean, the price of this pen, let me make sure I don't make a mistake. Don't get me wrong, it's only $39.82, so $40 Canadian, which is what, roughly less than $30 US. And these other pens are much more expensive, some of them double. So that has to be considered. But, all of these pens are really clearly affordable. And if you're going to have to buy a nice writing instrument and spend a few dollars, not hundreds of dollars more, these pens, these other pens, I think give big competition to this Penbbs 556. But that nib, the verdict's still out. So we shall see. Now, these are the pens capped. Here are the pens uncapped and unposted. So in terms of size, as I mentioned to you, it's a very, very nice size. I mean, it competes even with this big V200. So it doesn't appear to be, it's bigger than even the P140 here. And that P140 has got that big nib. So as I mentioned to you, it is not a small pen. Now, given that this pen is not a great poster, I'm not going to show you the posted example or comparison just because I don't think it should be posted, especially when that posting it will turn that piston knob. What I want to do now is compare it to some of the older offerings just to see if there's anything new there. Okay, I've got a sampling of my Penbbs collection. First thing to notice is that I noticed the clip, although it kind of, resembles the old style in terms of having 2 points there, kind of sword-like, as you could see. I think they are all pretty much the same thing, except if you go into special editions. So that looks like it's a new clip. There may be other pens, this has kind of lining in there. It looks more like a shell-like design as opposed to a straight edge design. Frankly, I would have preferred this one. I think that one makes it look so much more expensive, if you will. Here's the gold version of that. I know there's something about that flat design that appeals to me more, and there may be actually more work involved in doing something like this. But there's the clip. So it is a familiar clip, yet different. In terms of the center band, the Penbbs logo really is the same. There is, in the old one, just a number from what I can see. Let me just see if this is a more recent model. Yeah, there's just Penbbs and the number. I noticed there's an additional design that I've never seen before. I'm just comparing here. No, this design right there, I'm not sure what it is. It looks like a logo of some sort is new. And the numbering, I see 556, made in RRC, which must be the Republic. Yeah. Or is it P? No, PRC. So, basically the Republic of China. But, so it's a little different. The cap is a little bit different. The number 556 is more in italic. There's one difference. Now, in terms of the nib, let me see if I have an ordinary nib here. Does any of these pens have an ordinary? I think they all have special nibs. Yeah. Just bear with me a second. I'll be right back. Okay, I think I found one. The color is different because this is a... but as you could see, the nib, in terms of the way it's branded, is really the same. Except this is dual tone and this one is all gold. The nibs are comparable. I thought maybe there was a special grind on this pen, on this nib, but I don't think so. The feed looks pretty much the same. The section looks pretty much the same. And this was the 355. So when I compare the 355 to the 556, I like the 355. I would say to you that the 556 falls short of the 355. This is another version of it. 355 is a much nicer pen. And, I think this is a Japanese, I think they call it a Japanese piston filler. It's not a vacuum filler. Compare it to my 500. Falls short of the 500. Compared to the 456, very similar to the 456. Different center band, slightly different finial, a little bit shorter, but basically the same kind of pen. This is the, what number is this one? 495. Again, very, different, but, kind of similar. Got a different finial, perhaps, a different center band. But essentially, we're talking about nothing extremely novel, I would say to you. So there you have the comparison, folks. So far, it's not blowing me away. That's all I can tell you. Let's see what it does. We're going to do some measurements first and then the writing sample. Okay, we're back with the writing sample. First of all, I think I got a good fill. That's a decent fill. So the piston filler is working. The system is working. The ink I put in there is I thought I'd put in a Penbbs number 135. Nice brown ink. Let me show you. By the way, I swatched and reviewed this ink in my recap of June the 15th. So you're welcome to take a look at that should you be interested in how the swatch reacted. But here it is. No, this is the 269. Yeah. No, the 135. 1 second. I have another swatch. My apologies. It is 135. It's just there's a mistake there. So that should be 135. I'll correct that right away. That's the color. So it's a nice brown, and we'll see how it writes on Tomoe River paper. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to do some writing samples on two different types of paper. I wanted to show you this notebook I had in my collection. It's from Penbbs, so why not, eh? By the way, I love this new leather cover that I got. The reason being that it accommodates notepads, because you've got two. You can put in two notepads from the top, as you can see, or you can insert your notebooks on the side. It's got a very big elastic pen ring here, two little slots here. It's made out of cowhide. You can close it all up with this elastic band. I'll put I think this is going for, it was on special on AliExpress for like $26, $27 Canadian. So I thought I'd mention that. Okay, so why don't we get going with the writing sample? We'll first start with the Tomoe River. Okay, let me just close up here so you can really get a nice look at the writing sample. Okay, so this is Penbbs, and it's the number 556. What they call dark paint. I've got a feeling that this is not a very nice translation of this, nice brown 3D-ish swirl. That's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And it's got the gold trimmings because I think you have the same pen in silver trimmings. I think the gold matches much better. The nib, so far so good, folks. The nib is a Penbbs fine nib. I'm extremely encouraged. Number 6 steel. And the ink is Penbbs number 135, and it's a brown. Okay, so very nice nib. Very nice nib. In fact, for a fine, extremely wet. Smooth. Very smooth. Just a hint of feedback, but just because it's a fine nib. Otherwise, I like their medium nibs. They did not offer it, at least when I ordered. There was no offering for the medium nib. I've got a few. I was thinking that maybe I would replace that nib with a calligraphy nib that you can order on the side, with something a little more, with a little more punch. But you know what? This nib, so far, in terms of consistency, fast writing, look at this. I mean, there's no complaints here, folks. Very consistent. So very consistent. I remember years ago when Penbbs were coming out with pens almost weekly. Sometimes I needed to kind of split those tines apart a little bit to, so that it would feed and flow a little better. But this thing flows just beautifully. So now type A nib, they've given it a name. It caught me by surprise. I've not had a chance to review that. Maybe I'll post something on the screen should I have more information about this nib. But that's interesting. That's very interesting. Now, what else? Oh, yes, reverse writing. Very fine. I would say to you, extra fine. But it's still going. It works. Likes and dislikes. Now, I'm just wondering if this nib has a little bit of an architect shape there. Do you see that? Am I the only one who thinks there's maybe a little bit of an architect tip there? Or maybe that's just the way they've decided to do their fine nibs. But very interesting. I would love to have a medium with the same type of nib. Be very interesting. Let me just finish this, and then we will work on this for a little while. So let me just back this up so we can get everything in here. Likes. Well, I like the build quality. There's no squams there. I really like the nib, surprisingly enough. For a fine nib, this is 10 on 10, folks. Is it a déjà vu? I think it is. So actually I would say this, put it on this side. There's nothing exciting about it, but so it shouldn't go here. Materials are fine. I like this demonstrator. I like the fact that it's a piston. No posting is a problem for me. I think because it turns that knob. So effectively, I would say it's not a poster. Do I have any other dislikes? I think those are really the two. It just doesn't look exciting. I've seen others. Does it even look like one of the cheaper offerings from Navlar? Yeah, the original. If you give me a second, I'll pull that out. I knew it looked like something. I knew it was that it resembled another pen. Now, take a look at this. This is the Narwhal original. There you have it. Other than gotta tell you, even the clip looks similar. There are differences, but very similar, and just maybe different finials. Even the way Narwhal is kind of surrounded its branding there. The band is thinner, but I knew I'd seen this pen somewhere before. So there you have it. It really looks like a Narwhal, or Narwhal really looks like a Penbbs. There are differences, though. There are differences. So there you have it in terms of likes and dislikes. Now, just so that we let's try to use this paper. I was never overly impressed by this notebook. As you can see, it falls apart. But let's take a look at to see how it writes. So this is very scratchy. dark paint. Very scratchy. I almost get the sense that I'm scratching the paper. It's not bad though. So if you, sorry, you can't see. It's not bad on the other side. So if you like a pen, paper with some tooth, you definitely have it here. Definitely have it here. Now, in terms of the other pens and the nib, let me just get that other nib that I just saw. Yeah, this is the 355. I just want to compare the writing. Very comparable, I would say to you. This pen is kind of skipping on me here. But very comparable, although I got to tell you, this nib, the one in the new 556, writes much, much nicer. If I go back to my Tomo River and compare the two, yeah, a little smoother. It could be also the ink. Just as smooth. Yeah, better flow on this 556. Very well tuned. Well, you know what? We shall see if it kind of, if there's a dry nib issue there. As you can see, there's some leakage there. We shall see, and I'll get back to you guys. But I think that maybe that nib and the price is what's can save this pen and make it. I'm not saying to you it's not a nice writing instrument. Far from it. I think it's an excellent writing instrument. However, can you get something better now in the market? Maybe even at the same price or a little more? I think so. Oh, by the way, we didn't see whether or not it has any kind of flex. No, I think it's a nail, pretty much. There's no flexibility there, which means that even that Dieman fine, which gives you a little bit of a spring, is better. I don't think the Asvine fine is anything, outstanding. I think their outstanding nib right now is the number 8 size nib, especially in that 1.1 stub. Majon's got some interesting standard nibs. It offers a 1.1 stub as well, and again, their number 8 nib is outstanding. Even on Dieman's nib, number 8 nib is outstanding. So this Penbbs is it's lagging behind. Let's just say. There you have it. So mixed feelings. So there you have my review. Are there any other pens that you could purchase for $40? Maybe. I would have second thoughts. Would think about it, and see if there's anything else out there. I haven't done thorough, reflected thoroughly on that, but I there's something about the déjà vu that I wouldn't spend more money on this pen. There's nothing wow about it. There you have it. Thank you very, very much. Please subscribe and likes. If you like it, please let me know. If you don't, let me know. If you disagree with me, let me know. Convince me. Have I made a mistake, or is this worthwhile? So looking forward to hearing your comments. Enjoy your pens, folks. Ciao.